Well, hello everyone. It is a Friday, the 20th of October, 2023. I am Delbridge, and there is no Benchmark Realty here today. But you do see some beautiful crimson red. Very crimson. Particular type of red known through much of the world as being one of the most beautiful shades of red there are. Anyway, do you know what tomorrow is? Other than the 21st, it is the third Saturday in October, and that is usually the standing date between the Tennessee Volunteers and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, they're playing down Tuscaloosa this year, and it should be interesting. It's varied through this week up between 9.5 points, 8.5 points, favorite the red over the orange. We don't know what it's going to be because Saturday hadn't come here yet. It should be fun, and it will be a good distraction from some of the news that we have before us today, which we'll get to right now. If you like this content, please go to CallDelToSell.com, find the tab that says on YouTube, click it, and it'll open up a page of QR codes. There you can use a smartphone to scan and get to the YouTube page, or you can just mouse over and click it on a PC. There you'll be able to subscribe to this little button over here and click the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you when each Friday's blog has been uploaded. Thank you. Alrighty, what do you say we get to our middle segment? Now, it's not the greatest news of a middle segment. As you know, if you've been watching the show and haven't been living under a rock for the past 3 years or so, you know that we have an inflationary problem that is caused by spending money. And on the radio today, I hear that President Biden wants an emergency spending money. I guess they can't spend it quick enough. He wants an emergency spending bill of over $100 billion, which will not help inflation much. But let's go look at that screen. All right, here we are, Fox Business. We have our dates down here somewhere, published yesterday at almost 4 o'clock Eastern. It says 2023 housing market projected to have as few sales since 2008 as mortgage rates rise. Do we want to read this? No, I don't think we want to read this. I'll give you the link in the description of the status chat, but basically it just says we're slowing up. And I don't think that this is a shocker. The only thing that's shocking about it is the since 2008, according to Fox Business. Well, let's go look at what those rates are. Now, we're right here at our favorite spot for mortgages, Mortgage News Daily. They had an interesting article earlier this week that said we have crossed the 8s, which they had up here. It was, what was it at its peak? 8.03%. That was yesterday. Today it is down to 7.9. Let's roll that down where we can get a good look at that. October 20th, 7.97. And I know that sounds awfully high, like we've crossed over something, but this is an emotional number. If you'll notice that year-over-year change just last year, it's only up 0.5 percentage point, which is significant. I'll give you that. It is significant over what we were, say, 3 years ago before they started spending all of that money. And if I haven't mentioned it already, on the radio today, we heard that our president hasn't spent enough money quick enough. He wants an emergency expenditure bill to go through of over $100 billion more dollars to be spent. So if that were to go through, it's going to cause some more inflation. Now, we also know from a week or so previous, when we had the Fed meeting, the committee was meeting, they were saying, yeah, probably ought to have some more interest rates before the end of the year. Well, we're in October now, almost to 2/3 of the way through, right? We have 30 days and we're 21 tomorrow. So we're 2/3 of the way through October. That gives November, maybe December. And my projection a year ago was that we needed to be about 8% to 8.5% by Christmas of last year. And they didn't do it because they were afraid of a recession, which that's unfortunately how you correct inflation is with a recession. They didn't do it. So we've paid all of this money into this percentages, and we still have inflation. In fact, if you watch the previous shows, you know it's still going up. So it's not the greatest news to end the Friday before the Alabama UT game, but it is what it is. And there's our rate, again, just about 7.97, a little more than 0.5% from what it was a year ago. The wheels didn't fall off the wagon a year ago, but absolutely, as we're pushing 8%, that's going to cause, on a $400,000 house, you can check me, going to cost about another $1,000 from about $1,500, something like that. I think it is $1,600, maybe 17 to 20. 25, 26, 27, something along that mark. So it's just not going to be a very good time as far as your mortgages go. But here's what you have to deal with in your head. Do you think that there's anything coming out in the news that's going to make your mortgage rates go lower? I mean, like I say, the president was on the radio saying that he wants another billion dollars. And if they print it, it's just going to cause more inflation, which will then have to be counteracted by interest rate changes and market changes. Now your 401k and your 503 and all of your investments are going, but it's getting really tough on people. What we need is some sensibility in our economic policies to return us to a more healthy economy. So that's it. Let's wrap this show up. Hello, I'm Delbridge of Benchmark Realty, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. If you are currently unrepresented and would like to know how to compare up to 3 properties side by side and room by room, then go over to my new YouTube channel, CallDelToSell. That's one L and Del, no spaces. Watch the demo on Real Scout and then call me and we'll set up your exclusive ad-free account today. Alrighty. I didn't mention this, but I may or may not have a post next week. Tuesday, I'm having some shoulder work done, and it's not going to be pleasant, I'm thinking. And I'll probably be grumpy, and I might not be able to clearly enunciate the words. Not that I do that particularly well anyway, if you watch me, you know. But let's get to our numbers for this week. Last week, 10/13 of 23, we had 19,996 in the opportunities. That was up over the previous period. We had 3645 in the under contract still showing. That also increased over the previous period, but not a lot. And what we have here was 18% on the integer value between those two numbers. That came down a percentage point. This week, 10/20 of 23, we have 20,280 opportunities. Our inventory is getting better. That is a rise over the previous week. We had 3517 in the under contract still showing. That actually dropped off a little bit. I guess we closed some of those out, and that resulted in a downward 17%. So we're down a percentage point than where we were the week prior. So I hope to see you next week. I may not see you next week. I should be doing well, but it just may be better for me to stay off the recording device for posterity next week. So we'll get back to you as quick as we can. We appreciate you watching, and you know it's not the end of the world. It does look like we have some stormy waters coming up, but we still have to sail that ship. And so you know what you need to do. If you're ready to sell, call me. We'll get it listed. We'll set up a meeting and get that done. And if you're looking to buy, you can still do some preliminary work, even if you're not ready to pull the trigger right now. It may actually help you to have a little bit of market knowledge of your own as we get you started. So appreciate you. See you next time.